He been looking for a hit for 30 years.
Literally, what has Trick Daddy done to you?
Let me know when I get crisper.
I really love that this is happening right now. This is very much giving me Oprah's Hallelujah Lane. Land ownership. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we're getting clearer.
All about. See there, I told you I was just trying to stop and call early. Okay, all right, try here.
Because we don't want to have to struggle through it or have you be all blurry up in the picture.
The blurrier I am, the better for me.
Word, I'll keep that. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Here you are in the flesh, unbossed, unbought. Katt Williams.
Factually, yes.
I'm so excited to talk to you. First of all, so great to see you. Congratulations for just sticking out in the game. We appreciate a voice like yours having longevity. I'm so glad to see you out in another special. Cannot wait to watch. They did not give me a screener, so I'm gonna watch like The Peasants on Tuesday. But I'm glad.
No, I'll get you one. No one has seen one other than you, so feel like that.
So it's that makes me feel even better.
Yeah.
So Katt, normally when I talk to folks, I love to start by asking, besides your name and what you do, who are you? And what is one thing that you love most about who you are and how you show up in this world?
I'm an explorer, a lover of truth and nature. And I believe that the best pictures are preserved in the brain. I'm an experiencer. I like to be involved with the process instead of changing the process. I like to get close enough to actually be able to understand what the process is without the bastardization of the process itself. So that requires you to think about yourself enough to always put yourself in certain situations, but not to think so highly of yourself that you don't open yourself up to potential growth and mentorship from a situation that doesn't reflect yours. That's what traveling is all about. Trick Daddy would love to tell you Miami is the greatest place in the world. even though it is, where we're from can't be the greatest place. That's your starting point. And the opportunities that you have to go and see how other people are doing with similar circumstances is really what life is about. To be able to see yourself in the poor, broke, or destitute version of yourself, and to see yourself as a king or a prince or a queen as well. And everything else is the middle of that, you know? So doing it like that, you never get depressed because you're not depending on something to work out right for you to be good. You're understanding that whatever's next is what's next. And if the punch in the face is what's next, I have to understand while absorbing the pain of that, oh yeah, it's my turn now. I have to get mine off. That's the part of this dance is, yeah. So that's who I am. If comedy and movies and television are not involved. I'm just an explorer. And when I was young, I just wanted to be somebody who solved the world's mysteries. I thought that would be what my job would be, is to find out what people wanted to know and go get the answers to that. So in a way, everything I wanted to be.
That's beautiful. I really love that. I love an explorer. I love somebody who doesn't, use what is in front of them as their world. And that is very obvious in the person that you are, and how you have moved and continue to move through this industry. I think that it's dope to know you as a comedian, but you get to know you differently when you speak to you off stage. There's like a quietness to you, like like you seem like you give all the good advice, like you just like a strong stand-up person. And in that answer, you were talking about growth and knowing that like you don't stop here, there's more. So I'm curious, because we all know that you've had your fair share of controversial things that have happened, headlines, people putting you, on these blogs and things like that. What have you unlearned so far in experiencing those things and becoming, I guess, fodder for the world to talk about in certain ways? What have you learned about yourself in that, or unlearned?
It's possible that I don't understand your question correctly, but if I do understand it correctly, I'm against unlearning in general. So I don't think that there are any circumstances that you can find yourself in that are not learning circumstances. You can be learning how to win, or you can be learning how to lose. You can learn how to give love. You can learn how to accept hurt. But unlearning is not a process I'm familiar with. Short-term memory is what's helpful in most sports, and comedy being one. It's important that you not allow yourself to get too high, and you don't allow yourself to get too low. So what I'm saying is, even if they gave me the award that was the biggest award in the world, I've already had a child. So I'll have to put that into perspective. I'll be happy about the award itself, but I wouldn't be able to act like it was the greatest thing I had ever been presented with.
Oh, that's right.
The dichotomy is just between not allowing lowness and not allowing too much highness, and staying in that balance is really the zen that keeps people ticking, is not allowing Satan to do anything good or bad that can sway you from the wave. The wave is constant. And so that's what's being preserved, if that makes any sense.
It does. You feel even to me, like it's the thing. Things won't things won't rock you. And that's really interesting to learn. I love that. We're obviously here to celebrate and to talk about your new comedy special on Netflix. I would say congratulations, but look.
I still want that. Like,
you still want your congratulations?
Absolutely, if it's deserved, because I'm saying I've been having this conversation with this group since 1995, and it's very difficult to maintain a relationship that long. And this relationship has had its ups and its downs, but I kept believing that the audience that I was talking to loved me and would be there for me. And they have never let me down. And so we've continued this conversation, So this is monumental for me. This is this is the baker's dozen. You know, this is me understanding that if I were to leave comedically, that I've left the body of work that I was intending to leave. Like and in watching it, you can see the growth. You can see when I thought things and I thought a certain way, and then you can see me soften as I got more information about it, all the way to where I'm telling a joke in a completely different direction than I once would have. And so I'm just proud that the group that sustained me through that is still here and active and present, and I'm able to still present something that even if Trick Daddy doesn't think it's funny, at least resonates.
You don't have Trick Daddy looking for you.
I don't think anybody's worried about that. You've been looking for a hit for 30 years.
Literally, what has Trick Daddy done to you? I love it. I'm just okay.
I don't believe in calling guys daddy.
just Trick.
even that alone. Yeah.
Well, I will let's say the congratulations to you, because not only is this a new special on Netflix, but you're also directing or have directed and executive produced with that, which is dope as a creative, as a comic, to be able to take those roles on too. Have you learned anything about yourself as a director or as a producer? Does that change how you move with a project?
The production part of it, I just love, because I know how important it is to the entire process. Mm-hmm. And I was still working with some really, really qualified people, but this is to me, paying directors and specifically saying to them, even the great Spike Lee, just make me look tall out there. And no matter how much I paid these guys, no one was truly able to make me look tall out there. And finally, I was like, why am I paying them? Like anything else, I could look ugly by myself. Like so I just broke the fourth wall and decided to direct myself. And yeah, I did learn a lot. But I like directing. I have a good eye for things, I think.
So we're gonna see some more directing from you, Katt. Like, are you gonna give us some more of these skills that you've acquired?
Yes. I have a slate of projects that don't all require for me to be in front of the camera, and I will be behind the camera for those as well. I just like quality control. Mm-hmm. I think I just, I don't like mistakes. I'm not the biggest fan of myself, so it allows me to do a pretty decent job as far as directing and editing. But with others, I'm even more bulldogish, and I want to make sure that you look your best at all times and at all points. So that's generally helpful to urban productions.
I love that. I was watching a conversation that you had recently with Arsenio, and it was really interesting to hear you talk about, first of all, congratulations on your Emmy win for your character work in Atlanta. And then you mentioned also you're going to follow that up with some Grammys. We can see that coming for sure. Yeah. But like, you had never been submitted, your work had never been submitted for these awards. And I was like, now it be your own people. So what is up with that, Katt? Like, and have you gotten rid of these people?
Oh yeah, clearly. A lot of them got indicted. So a lot of things really went on, but
that escalated.
Yeah. Yeah. When people know that you have ops, it's an easy thing for them to act as if it's the ops that are lobbing the grenades at you. And it's a form of warfare. And I was in one of those circumstances where I had the same group for 15, 16 consecutive years. And you build up a sort of a trust with that. But yeah, it was true. I thought that the industry had me blackballed because I was hearing those stories, those
Yeah.
rumors were there, and I couldn't understand it just because I hadn't ever heard of anybody telling a story where they worked with me on any projects or production and they weren't pleased, or I had some weird attitude, or anything went awry. I don't have that type of reputation, so I just couldn't understand where the cold shoulder was coming from. I know that I had this group of projects on my table, and I know that I was just saying, take these coonish things out of these projects and we can do them all. And then suddenly it was, we don't have to go through you to let you critique things comedically because nobody else is going to do that. For example, let's take all of these 8 things off your desk and watch us give it to this person. Watch them do them all, no problem.
Right.
And they were right, and I was wrong. So I was able to learn that lesson, but I couldn't understand how my enemy always knew where I was going to be in order for these things to transpire. Yeah, they're with you. So yeah, that's the lack of unlearning that I'm talking about. We are all going to go through something. We're all going to be on the downside of things. It's how do we act? How are we when that's going on? My job is to, later on, you are supposed to find out everything that I went through and then try to figure out how is he still telling jokes at this time? Like, how is he missing $56 million and still on stage keying about stuff, like, you know what I mean? So I just put all of that into the body of work, knowing that by the time things come out on the other end, I'll be in a better place. And that's exactly what happened. Like, Satan can't create even for himself. So he can't make you unsuccessful and he can't make you successful either. Like,
no, that's right.
You have to understand those. Like, Harvey Weinstein can't ever win. Even when he's winning, he's just that much closer to where the losses are. And he's never going to get out of that. You know what I mean? Like, like R. Kelly can't redeem this part of it because you were so gung-ho getting in the hole, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Heard you.
These are real-time scenarios we find ourselves in. And whether you win or lose, the participation is its own reward, actually.
I know that's right. And I think your career is a testament to that. Because you do have, like you've said before in some interviews, like you have the most comedy specials of a comedian that are yours. And I find it really fascinating that, because we talked about ownership when you were driving through these trees and everything, but ownership, that conversation with you, I think is so abundant because you're a Black man, you're a comedian, and you're in a space where ownership is not really thought of on that level. And you bring that to the table. And I do think that is, to quote you, everything. I think it is, because you are showcasing to the people coming behind you what it means to have this integrity and what it means to own your work. So can you talk about that importance of ownership, especially as a Black comedian?
Well, this might be poignant for some, but it'll be quick for others. The most valuable thing in your career at any point is your independence. And if you'll just understand that you walked in with your independence, you'll understand what the job is. So you partner in and you get colleagues and friends, and you have work partners and all of that, but you're an independent being and an independent entity as an artist. And the best you can do for yourself is to maintain as much of that as you can. Every relationship is a relationship. So just like as a woman, you wouldn't sleep with everybody that you thought about sleeping with, because if you did that, that'd make you a man.
I was about to say, what?
You know, how you, that type of care, you have to have that with your art and your career. And as a real artist, you have to understand that there's a worth on your product before other people say what that worth is. And the biggest disservice you can do is not appreciating your work enough as the artist. If you appreciated it, others would as well. So that's all I have about that. Is just understanding the importance of independence. And if you know that going in, it'll change how you do business.
Yeah. It teaches a lot. Don't jump at every little check. Definitely don't take the first offer. All those things. We can't be thirsty for it to where we're missing the important message and the longevity.
Right. Just because a lot of the issue becomes just take for granted that you're going to get everything that you want. It doesn't help you if you get everything you want and find out that it costs you everything you needed. Like the Bible and other spiritual books say it way better than that. But on a street level, just understand that some of that's not even grass on the other side.
Ooh, say that. Say that. I wish I had so much more time, but I have a meeting I have to go to. But I want to ask you before I get out of here, what are your intentions for World War III? What are you hoping that we receive? Because you know, you are funny, yes, but you are a teacher as well. You're an observer, like you said, an explorer. And it's always smart. So what are we hoping that the people get from World War III?
I think you have just named the expectations, and I hope to God that he delivers. You just said what the expectations are. Those are the expectations. My main goal is originality, regardless of the rest of it. My main job is to be saying something that I'm saying and to be representing the group that feel like their thinking aligns with mine. So that's who I speak for. So that's my first criteria. The second criteria is that I hope that when you finish, you laughed at me so that I can continue calling myself a comedian. But I also hope that there's some things you walk away with knowing that you didn't know before we had the conversation. And that's what I'm really in it for. I'm really in it for that. If some people walk away going, now I did not know that, and I did not know that, and then they check it, you know what I mean? And they do quick research and they find out that it's accurate and it's truthful. And then they wonder, well, why am I hearing this from a comedian?
Right.
That's what I love.
Well, I appreciate it.
You are magnificent as an interviewer. You are every bit as Oprah was to become Oprah. Just know that.
That means so much coming from you, because I'm a huge fan. I have always been, and I'm just so glad that you see me. So thank you for that. I appreciate that, because you say you don't, you respect, when you respect people, they can ask you questions. So thank you. Thank you for letting me ask you questions, and thank you for being open. I wish I could talk to you longer, but I had a day job and I have a meeting.
No. And I'm in the woods in a Hellcat, so you know I got stuff going on.
Listen, what a life, Katt Williams. What a life. Well, thank you again so much for your time. I'm so grateful, and I can't wait to see you congratulate you on your Grammys.
Thank you. I can't wait to see you too.
Thank you, Katt. Thank y'all.
Real quick with that, real with that, yeah.